Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. Hope you guys have all enjoyed your weekend, having a lovely lazy Sunday, have enjoyed the sun while it lasted, because it looks like the rain will be heading back to Newcastle this week. It's because the Hoppins is here. As soon as the Hoppins gets to Newcastle, the rain starts again. But we have got a good video for you guys today, because Premier League winning, Champions League winning, ex-Liverpool current Bayern Munich player Sadio Mané has responded to the potential links of joining Newcastle United this summer. That's right, there's a few other links going on out there as well I want to discuss in today's video too. But first, I had to put this on. Brazil's new number 7 or number 18 that he wore last night. Not only did Joe Linton make his debut for Brazil yesterday, he also went and scored a goal. And everyone's been on social media full of joy and happiness and congratulations to Joe Linton, and people posting stuff like, can you believe it? Joe Linton a year ago, couldn't get in the side, and a year later, it's one of the best midfielders for me in the Premier League for what he does right now. He gets his Brazil call-up, he scores the goal, he goes off, Bruno comes on as his replacement onto the pitch. I mean, it's not a bad time to be a Newcastle fan. It's not a bad time to be Mr. Joe Linton, because he is absolutely smashing it at the moment. Really hoping he can come back and just continue to kick on for us this season. And that's the thing. We're flying at the moment. I mean, Callum Wilson, he went and scored a goal for England against Malta on Friday night. Not the most entertaining game, but he comes on, gets his goal. First Newcastle player to score for England since Michael Owen in 2007 or 2008. So there's quite a big difference between that as well. So yes, international duty, the lads are all off smashing it. But we turn our attention back to the transfer window. Links continue to rumble on for a few different players, Sadio Mané being one of them, but another is Cucurella, the current Chelsea left-back. Now, there's links coming out from the Mirror that Newcastle will go in and try and get him at a cut price this summer. It's strange, because the Chelsea fans, or what I've seen online, are really not happy with him. He's gone there, he's being called a flop this season. They spent, £60 million on him, 55 to £60 million on him back in the summer, now being called a Chelsea flop. They're reportedly going to let him go for as much as half of the amount they paid for him then, which for Newcastle fans would be what? For Newcastle United, I should say, I'm not paying for him. For Newcastle United would be 25, 30 million. You let me know your thoughts on that one down below. It's interesting because when he left Brighton, he was voted player of the season. He was voted player of the season, if I can get my words out today. He was voted player of the season as well. So all the players voted him as the best player. All of the fans voted him as the best player. And then he went to Chelsea and he's had a nightmare. So did he just massively outdo himself at Brighton and has now dropped down? Or is there still a player in there that Chelsea weren't able to get the most out of? Now, it's an interesting one with Chelsea because they've spent so much money. It seems crazy to go, half the price, get him off the books. But they need to sell some players, because the amount of money they've spent to be able to spend again, potentially this summer, or even just to try and stay in line with FFP and not have fines and potential point deductions and whatever can happen from that, they're going to have to let some players go. So could Cucurella be one of them, and could Newcastle be one of the teams who's being linked with him? 24 years old, he was at Espanyol, he was then at Barcelona, and then, as I say, that's when he really kicked on at Brighton under Graham Potter. Then he went to Chelsea and it's all kind of come crashing down. It does seem that we are in the market for a left-back. Another player we're being linked with is Tierney from Arsenal. Now, if you could compare the two and pick one, then let me know which one you would prefer down below. It's interesting, isn't it? Because we've got Dan Burn, who's been absolutely rocking it. We've got Target behind him, who, in fairness, was cracking. I saw no reason when we brought in Target on a permanent deal that he would get replaced by Dan Burn. But it's just funny how things work out. But I would still say the reason you would look to potentially replace Dan Burn is to have maybe a more forward-going, Left back? I mean, I would say it's a misconception to say that Dan Burn just stands at the back and does nothing, because he doesn't. Dan Burn bombs up that left wing. He definitely creates movement forward. He doesn't just sit at left back and wait to defend. You think if we were looking for a player who could do that more, can Targett not do it? Appreciate when Targett has come on this season, he hasn't looked the best. But I think that's mostly down to the fact that he hasn't seen any game time all season. We've just dropped him in the water like that and gone, good luck, mate. And he hasn't really done it. So, and if we were going to bring a left back in, does that mean we have to sell a Targett? Or we'll give Richie a new deal. Where's he playing? We're giving Dummett a new deal. He's still playing. So I do understand the chat of could we do with a new left back. I think it's something that if the right price and the right player came around, I think Eddie Howe could move for it. But presumably that means that Targett would go. I can't see him letting Dan Burn go. He's just signed an extension as well. So let me know your thoughts around that left back position on the links to Cucurella. That's the newest one from the Mirror. Mostly that one. I think Tierney, most Newcastle fans would be quite happy to see him join, except for the injury issues. I don't even know what Cucurella's doing right now. Is he just at the home on the Xbox? I feel like I've seen him since he left Brighton, really. So yeah, you let me know your thoughts on that one down below. Another one that's coming out from Fabrizio Romano today is all around midfielders, and could Newcastle be actually going in for Conor Gallagher? There was question marks of whether the Sadio deal could potentially involve Conor Gallagher. He said that's not true. And in fact, Newcastle are still keeping their wandering eye on Conor Gallagher, but that James Maddison remains one of the top targets, which doesn't surprise me. Again, we've been linked with Maddison all of last summer. It's happening again. We're linked with Conor Gallagher as well. It goes back to Eddie Howe's magical list of players that he always wants to potentially go back for because because they look good at the time. It's got the type of player that he wants, the personality that he wants. It does not surprise me that Conor Gallagher's popping up again. And big links to Maddison, Szoboszlai, Barella. As much as I'd love to go sign all three of them, maybe two. I think we will still have links to some of these other players who, they aren't just, Conor Gallagher for me isn't a player that's just going to bulk the squad. He will do that, but he's also a player that will compete for a starting place, and that's the thing, is we don't just want to buy players who will just, get him in because we need the numbers of anything, because we're giving contracts to Richie and Dummett, and we actually don't need numbers. We need more competition in the first 11. So is Conor Gallagher a player that you are still interested in, or have you, maybe not as keen now as maybe you might have been back in the January and the summer, because it was quite a big one at the time. I think a lot of it was that we wanted him on loan because we wanted to try and, at the time, bulk the squad without spending. I don't know if at this moment Chelsea would probably loan him. They would want to sell him, and he wants to stay. Really, he's been trying to stay for a while to fight for his place. The question mark is after they've spent all those players, potentially want to buy more this summer window, how much of a chance is he going to get? And does Conor Gallagher going, you know what it is? I'm better off moving and getting some first team football. And another player who could potentially be looking to move away from Bayern Munich this summer to get some first-team football is Sadio Mané. Now, we remember him from his days at Liverpool, where, let's be honest, he didn't do too bad, did he? He was at Liverpool for 6 years. I mean, he pretty much won it all, didn't he? He won the Champions League, he won the Premier League. Cracking player, him and Salah. There was always comparisons between the two. I think Salah would generally score more goals, but I'm pretty sure Mané got about a goal every 2 games. For Liverpool, I think he was touching around 200 appearances and running close to 100 goals for those appearances. So a goal every 2 games for a winger, and not even the top goal scorer. Ain't bad. And I would like to see how many assists he got for Salah as well. So we all know he's a cracking player. The rumours were that he wanted to change, he wanted to move on, he wanted a new change of scene. So he moved to Bayern Munich last summer. He was sold for a reported £28 million. Since he's got there, he's played about 25 games for Bayern Munich, scored about 7 goals. If I'm totally honest, I've not seen loads of it at Bayern Munich. At the time, at Liverpool, a year, 2 years ago, Mané was up there with one of the best players in the world. So now he's gone to Bayern, Thomas Tuchel's gone in, and I think he's wanting to change things up. It's understood that Mané could well be one of the players who gets moved on at the age of 31 now. That's the thing, at the age of 31, as much as he is a fantastic player, bring him back in, What wonders could he do for Newcastle? What could he add? The work rate, the direct play. You know, he's an Eddie Howe player, really. You know, he's someone who is direct. He's not going to turn on the ball and pass it back. He's going to go forward. He's not selfish. He will cross the ball over. 31 years old. It doesn't really hit our player profile. Eddie Howe generally goes for younger players. I mean, that's the thing. The rumours around Mané have kind of been swirling for, I would say, maybe a month or two. Really, ever since the idea came in that Mané wouldn't be staying at Bayern Munich this summer and that he could potentially move away. There's been links to him back to Liverpool. There's been linked to him to Manchester United. You never know what's going to happen, but I would not guess he would do that one. There's been links to him going back to Liverpool, with some Liverpool fans very excited for it and some Liverpool fans seemingly a bit different. And the reaction from Newcastle fans has been relatively mixed as well over the last few weeks. However, he has now spoken out on this. So basically, Martin Callahan was out over in Senegal, where Mané is currently doing his international duty now. He isn't a reporter, by the way. He's part of the Conservative Party, but he's a Newcastle United fan, and he happened to be in Senegal, I guess, at a talk, saw him in the lift, and said, "By the way, Mané, are you coming to Newcastle United?" And he replied, "Never say never." He proceeded to get a photo, and it's kind of just blown up a little bit online because of what Mané has said. So yes, he's kept his cards close to his chest. Is Mané going to come out and tell anyone, "Yep, I'm going there," or "Nope, I'm staying"? As I say, the high speculation is that he will be moving on. Him and a couple of the older players from Bayern Munich, who Thomas Tuchel seemingly wants to have a bit of a mix-up at Bayern Munich now he's there. And could Newcastle be one of the destinations or one of the parties interested in Sadio Mané? Well, as I've mentioned already, yes, it's in fairness, the reaction of Newcastle fans has been a mix too. So let me know your thoughts down below. Would I turn around and say no to having a Sadio Mané join Newcastle? No, because he, as I say, a year ago or 2 years ago, he was one of the best players in the Premier League for me. However, 31 years old now, it would kind of not be really what Newcastle are generally going for. We're going for younger players to build them up. And he's reportedly on 350 grand a week, which I think is the real one that kind of stops this one where it stands, to be honest, because Newcastle aren't going to pay Mané more than twice the amount, close to triple the amount of our current highest paid player. And for Mané at the age of 31, where really his career's, I guess, coming into the well, you know what it is, another 3 or 4 years out of him potentially, he's going to want to go and get paid the same. You know, I think he might struggle to get 350 grand even if he went back to Liverpool or Manchester United. I think it's a tough one. I think the way he gets that money somewhere else is probably by going over to Saudi Arabia or a team like that who's offering the big bucks. I think he'll struggle, really struggle, for Newcastle to give him that amount. Would Mané give up 350 grand a week to go down to what, 150, maybe 200 maximum at Newcastle for a chance to play in our side who are in the Champions League? Where he's, in fairness, still going to be competing with a few other players for a position. Whereas at Bayern Munich, I suppose if they don't want you don't want to hang around, but they are still Champions League. They are still likely going to win the league. I'm sure you'll still get some game time. But in the words of Mané, never say never. And I think that's what we'll have to say with most of this Newcastle window, because we just don't know what's going to happen. But hopefully, some of these big names are going to be coming through the door. The Mané one, we wait and see. We wait and see what happens. I can't really see it myself, mostly because of the age profile for us going out and getting players, but also on his side, he's going to want big money, and that's not even including the transfer fee. That's not including, and that isn't just his wages. So you let me know your thoughts on Sadio Mané down below. Is it someone you would like to see happen at Newcastle? Even if you would like to see it, could you see it? I can't see it happening. I just think there's quite a few loops and hurdles to get through before both parties would be happy about it. And I think, as I say, his expectation for wages will be there, ours will be more here, and then if we're going to have to put a transfer fee in as well, it's just a lot going on. But you let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know your thoughts on the left back situation. Let me know your thoughts on the midfielders as well. Is Conor Gallagher someone you're still interested in, or are we totally done that with that now? We are moving on to the new stuff. Alright guys, thanks for watching as always. Drop a like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on everything in this video down in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Loads of Newcastle content coming out at the moment, so do not miss a video. If you hit that big red button, it's free. It just notifies you when I post a new video. So thank you for watching guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll catch you later.